Hey there, X Society. Misha here from Turtle TV, and I want to talk to you today about The Walking Dead Dead City season finale. We have just finished up episode 6 of the 6-episode miniseries, season 1 at least, and we're lucky to say that there is a second season coming in 2025. It is now 2025, so luckily that could be any day. I'm not sure when that first episode premieres, but I, for one, am very, very excited about this. A few thoughts after watching episode 6. And guys, as always, I try to warn on if there's going to be a ton of spoilers. There's going to be a ton of spoilers on this. I'm assuming if you're watching the episode 6 season finale, you know what's coming. Anyway, though, I felt that the ending was a little bit weird. I'm not sure what they wanted to do with the Doma and Negan type thing. Essentially, it seems like they went through all of this. At least the Doma engineered all of this with the Croat and the negotiations, all of this stuff, because she wanted Negan to be her partner and to more or less help her expand her control over New York City. I have a hard time buying it, not because I can't see her character commanding that presence on the screen, but because of the why. Like, why are we doing that? Now, if it opens up in season 2 to say that the Doma had a prior relationship with Negan, that could be something I could believe. If Negan had an extramarital affair or something, that's within the realm of possibility, because they're generally within the same age range where I could see them having some sort of history. However, it's implied based on them, talking to each other, that they know each other already, that they don't know each other. That's why it's a little bit weird to me. It's like, what are we doing here? Like, why is the Doma interested in Negan? So let's go into a few other things in this episode. So Negan and Perlie open up the episode by kind of making a truce that Perlie can go back. He's going to take Ginny with him and return her to the hilltop colony. Negan, in traditional Negan fashion, is like, you know what, I'm going to scar this little girl for life as a way to try and convince her to go. And he tells her that he killed her father, one of the marshals from New Babylon, in retaliation for what they did to Annie. So that little girl is now scarred for life because she kind of viewed Negan as a father figure, but whatever. Now we get into the hunt for Hershel, where Maggie and Negan continue their pursuit of the Croat in order to rescue Hershel, but Maggie ends up more or less overpowering Hershel after Negan Maggie overpowers Negan after Negan initially overpowers Maggie, but gives her the opportunity to try and move forward. Maggie goes, dude, you killed my husband in cold blood. We're trying to find my kid here. I don't like you. So Maggie, I think, has a point here. But Negan, I think this hits Negan hard because Negan, from his perspective, has done the time, whether he was in a prison that Maggie's group had, right? And he's done a lot to try and atone for it. I can understand from Negan's perspective, thinking that Maggie and him make a great team, a collaborative team, two geniuses more or less. But I don't think Maggie has any reason to, have to move on. What Negan did was unforgivable. Let's be clear about that. That was unforgivable. Now, the exchange happens with the Croat arriving and takes Maggie and Negan to essentially an abandoned building where Hershel is being held hostage. Negan is traded for Hershel. It's a tense release, and Hershel, being a little teenage bitch that he is, bitch can be male or female, by the way, being the little bitch that he is, says, Maggie, you suck. You're more focused on hating Negan than me. And I'm just thinking, she dealt with 5.5 episodes of the guy that killed her husband and your dad, dude, that saved you. Right? To save you. Be a little bit grateful, kid. Just throwing it out there. Anyway, Hershel is very upset. Maggie says, okay, I'll try to kind of move forward and whatnot. Maggie and Hershel are returning home, and Maggie tries to explain her overprotectiveness and why, like, she feels this way, which I think she doesn't have to, but I think it's good parenting. So, I think that characterization was good. And Perlie, what's interesting, Perlie goes back to New Babylon after having returned Ginny, and he lies about Negan. He keeps the promise with Negan, and he tells them that more or less he had killed Negan, and then he used methane to get back to New Babylon. So, the people that are listening to his story in New Babylon kind of call bullshit on this. They're like, really, dude? Really? You want us to believe that? But the methane part is interesting. He had to have gotten that methane. Where did he get it from? That opens up something for season 2. Now, the Doma's proposition. And if I'm saying Doma, I'm sorry. I'm really bad at pronouncing things. Don't at me in the replies. Or do at me. Hold me accountable, I guess. But the Doma's proposition, in return, and in that, surprising kind of turn of events, after the whole trade of the Croat, facilitating this trade with Maggie of Negan for Hershel, turns out, the Croat still kind of loves Negan in a way. He tells a story about how, Negan providing the Croat the opportunity to use Lucille is like one of the most magical moments of his life, which is kind of a little sad. But, I think that kind of highlights the cult-like personality that Negan has and the cult that he was able to foster, in his environment, which is why the Doma wants him to really unite the communities of Manhattan under her rule. She says straight out that she views him as a charismatic character that can get things done. And she's right, but I also think that, listening to this as well, it kind of makes me wonder, where do we go from here for The Walking Dead Dead City? Is this just going to be a Negan show? How does Maggie factor in? So part of it is the Doma threatens Negan by saying, like, if you don't do this, we're going to cut off more parts of Hershel's body, which is like, I don't know what part it was. I assume it was a finger or something. I just kind of grimace and go like this whenever I see, like, cut off body parts. So I think it was probably a finger or something. I assume it wasn't like something bigger than that. Anyway, though, that's scary. But it feels a lot like they're setting up just Negan to be the focus of this. And I wish we had a little bit more Maggie, because I think that interesting dynamic between Maggie and Negan was kind of like the fact that Maggie can't move on. Like, she can't. And she knows she can't. She knows Negan's right in some ways, that they make a great team. And, like, objectively, there's times where they need to work together. But there's some things that, again, are unforgivable. That being said, though, I think that they had a really interesting chemistry. And I think that The Walking Dead Dead City, kind of focusing on, fewer characters and this unique urban landscape, urban hellscape is more like it. That was very interesting. So overall, I thought this was a very solid season. I'm very pleasantly surprised, jumping into this as the first The Walking Dead spinoff that, we've done so far. We have the AMC Plus trial. We're going to be doing some more. I started Daryl Dixon. I haven't loved that one as much. I'm about an episode in. I've heard a little bit of a soap opera. I'm going to give it a chance. And then there's a few others that I'm going to start as well. But guys, if you're not following us, follow us on YouTube. Follow us on TikTok. We're on pretty much everything. Rumble, X, Facebook. I don't really upload to Instagram, but pretty much everything. Well, I do have upload to Instagram, but not really the movie reviews. Follow us, guys, at Misha Fitton or at Misha Turtle, for the most part. My name is Misha. Act Society, the Turtle. We out.